Thanks for being here. 6 a.m. on this Wednesday. You're getting halfway through the week, everyone. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Netta Iranpour. And hopefully you're enjoying this early morning brightness. We have meteorologist Evan Narani here. Yeah, signs of these longer days. I'm loving it.
On Earth Day, nonetheless.
Yeah,
right?
happy
Here we
Earth
go.
Day.
Hey, we got sunrise in just under 10 minutes, just about 10 minutes, and already a lot of that light is beaming on through. Clouds are starting to break apart. They're still with us this morning, and the reason why is because we did pick up on some scattered showers last night. So you might have noticed if you were out and about toward the evening hours that some of those light scattered showers came through just with a few hundredths of an inch of rain. 68 degrees this afternoon out by the coast, 72 inland. Coming up, we'll talk about that next chance for rain by the weekend. Back to you.
New this morning, Iran just fired on 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz and took them into custody, and there are no reports of injuries. This comes after the U.S. seized an Iranian cargo ship and boarded an oil tanker suspected of transporting sanctioned Iranian oil. The escalation comes as President Trump extends the ceasefire with Iran indefinitely. Meantime, peace talks failed to resume. Right now, authorities are looking for an escaped inmate. The California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation saying 50-year-old Rudy Beltran walked away from the Mayo Community Reentry Program Center in Barrio Logan yesterday. Take a look at your screen right here. He was sentenced to 28 years in prison back in 2009 for carjacking and prior felony convictions. Call 911 if you see him.
And now we have new details this morning about an independent report conducted by the Citizens Law Enforcement Review Board.
Yeah, it's raising concerns about deaths inside San Diego County jails. News 8's Tori Apodaca live in Kearney Mesa with how the Sheriff's Office is responding to all this here. Tori?
Hi, good morning. The Sheriff's Office here says that any preventable in-custody death is unacceptable. It says that many of the recommendations that the report makes, they are already addressing. So let's go ahead and walk you through some of those key findings from that report. You can see here that researchers found that nearly 180 people died in custody over a 13-year period. More than half of those deaths were not from natural causes, with overdose deaths climbing. According to the report, most of the deaths happened within just days of arrival at the San Diego Central Jail and the Vista Detention Facility. The Citizens Law Enforcement Review Board also claims that the Sheriff's Office repeatedly blocked access to key data during the investigation. But the Sheriff's Office says it did provide the data that is legal to release. The Sheriff's Office says it's been making notable changes, adding enhanced drug detection strategies with canines and naloxone in housing units, reducing overdoses by 65% between 2024 and 2025. It also added medical doctors to booking facilities to improve the screening and evaluation of people who are getting booked. The Sheriff's Office says because they are the closest booking facility to the border, they face more complex and unique challenges than other facilities do, like more illegal drug smuggling activity. The Sheriff's Office did release a statement in response to all of this that says in part, quote, "The Sheriff's Office remains committed to continuous improvement, transparency, and the safety and well-being of every individual in our custody. We will continue to evaluate findings such as those in this report while building on the substantial progress already made under Sheriff Martinez's leadership." And Saving Lives in Custody California and the North County Equity and Justice Coalition will be holding a press conference tomorrow at 1 p.m. near the County Administration Building to go through all of these findings. Reporting live in Kearney Mesa, Tori Apodaca, News 8.
This morning, the Balboa Park Cultural Partnership claiming the museum attendance is way down.
So the group is saying the new parking fees are to blame. We know these parking fees has raised a lot of concerns. News 8's Chris Groh live in Balboa Park. Some of the new data just released. Chris, what are you finding out?
Yeah, good morning, guys. And remember, this is since January when, of course, these parking fees and sort of the new meters went in Balboa Park. Take, for instance, we're right outside of the Fleet Science Center. This used to be a lot that was free to park to go to the Fleet Science Center, or just maybe even just to walk around. But now starting at 8 a.m., there is a fee associated with this. In fact, it's one of those tier 1 parking lots, so one of the more expensive. Well, the Balboa Park Cultural Partnership has been doing their research here and gathering the data points since paid parking went into effect, and they are saying that visitation is down and that paid parking is a major factor. In fact, they are saying that since January, an average of 34% of visitation has been down about 34%. Some museums even seeing drops as high as 60%. Now, the partnership is warning that if this trend continues, it could mean lost revenue, job cuts, and fewer events. Now, we have seen that the city has made some adjustments since January, right? We do know that there are now some free lots for city residents, some different programs and so forth, shuttles to bring you here to the area. But one of the things that the city has said when we've been reporting on these stories is that a lot of the early indication from, again, January, February about visitation being down was that it was being compared to the holidays when we see visitation so high. I think one of the key data points that we're going to have coming up here is going to be the summertime. What will this summer look like compared to last summer? Because the summer is sort of that next big time in which we get to see a lot of people visit the park. Think about all those free days at the museums, all those programs that get run during that time. Will we still see the same amount of people visiting Balboa Park in the summer? Back to you guys in studio.
Thank you very much, Chris. Today is Earth Day, first held in 1970. It aims to bring awareness to our changing climate and the role we all play in protecting our planet. This morning, we're learning about the impacts of a marine heat wave. So here's what we're finding out from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. They say since January, there have been 36 days where the surface temperatures out of La Jolla set a record. They have monitors right there at the pier. It's also hot at deep depths, with scientists saying these temperatures are comparable to an El Nino, even though there's no El Nino right now. As we've been reporting, the warm waters are affecting fish, starving seabirds. It's changing how so many fish are behaving, and then the birds can't find food. Climate scientists say the warm ocean water could lead to humid heat waves on land, even tropical cyclones. In the past, when we've covered these before in the water, it also affects the amount of algae, the red blooms that we might see. Also, take a look at this. A preliminary report from the National Weather Service says damage consistent with a tornado was spotted in Fresno yesterday. Yeah, this out of Fresno here in California. That includes uprooted trees they saw, and look at that cloud formation. Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen that in Sacramento area too, so.
Right, yeah. You can see things spinning around a little bit there, can't you?
Oh,
Scary
Crazy
stuff.
to see that.
Yeah,
that was the storm that came our way, maybe?
The remnants of it, we saw. We saw the same storm pass across the state of California, but for us in San Diego, it dwindled before it reached us. So up toward the LA area, Santa Barbara area, I mean, there was a little bit more wet weather associated with those areas, but for us, it was only a few hundredths of an inch. This front came through rather fast and weakened rather fast as well. Carlsbad, Ramona, Alpine only picked up on 1/100th of an inch. Julian Mountains saw the heaviest accumulations, 5/100ths of an inch. Lake Cuyamaca picked up on almost that 1/10 marker, but didn't quite make it there. They got to 9/100ths in total. Their satellite radar, the overview right now, where there's no wet weather that is falling right now. A couple hours ago, we did have one kind of final cell make its way through towards San Diego. But aside from that, cloud cover is dense from Del Mar all the way down through the international border. But you should get some breaks in the clouds the farther east you go. You can see how out toward East County, Hamul, and east of it, there's plenty of opportunities to see that sun once it comes up in about 3 minutes now. Wind advisory is in effect across our mountains and deserts. It will stay in effect for only about another hour or so, but keep in mind that despite the fact that this wind advisory is going to expire at the 7 o'clock hour, this afternoon is still expected to be a breezy day, especially out toward our mountains and deserts. 43 miles per hour in Borrego Springs by about 6 p.m. Along the coast and inland, we'll be in the teens up to maybe 20 miles per hour, and then those winds will die down tomorrow before they pick up again by the time we get into Friday. So Friday through the weekend, staying dry for Friday, Saturday, but Sunday could pick up on some additional accumulations of rain. Vanessa Paz has a check of traffic. I want to start off with what things look like up toward the top of the screen there. Pretty cloudy start to the morning there.
Yeah, it looks a bit gloomy out there, but it's not too extreme to where Chopper 8 can fly. If you're wondering what you're looking at, they are overhead the 8 headed westbound. In fact, I believe that's San Diego State in the distance there as they make their way towards Mission Valley this morning. All right, we are tracking a crash on the 94 right before you hit Euclid. This could slow things down for you as you're making your way towards Euclid, coming in from Lemon Grove, headed towards that 805 transition ramp. About a 10 to 15 minute ride if you're traveling in from the North County headed south, and that's out of Oceanside, Escondido. as well as the 78. Nothing really to talk about coming in from the East County. We're tracking about a 3 to 7 minute ride on the 94, the 8, as well as the 52. And then here's what it looks like for those drives coming in from the South Bay, 10 to 15 minutes right now out of San Ysidro, National City. Full span of the Coronado Bridge heading in from Barrio Logan and downtown to the city of Coronado under 5 minutes. Average speeds 45 miles per hour. 6:10 is the time. Let's go ahead and pull up those border wait times for you and see what we're tracking. Coming in from San Ysidro's port of entry will take you about an hour 50 or so, so almost 2 hours at this point, and then about an hour 15, so a little bit better coming in across from Otay Mesa this morning.